We are ready to go. We're all set and go. Hair and makeup today. Mostly makeup. I need makeup. I did the hair. I did the hair. Okay, we did that. Let's turn this around a little bit there. There's Yosemite. There's my partner. Well, let's turn the light around this way a little bit more so. Can even get it off camera a little bit more. Ooh, a little too bright. That goes that way. That's good. What am I missing? Glasses. I can't see. It doesn't make a difference. Just me, no glasses. I'm not going to really read anything today anyhow. Let's just flip around over here. Let's go over to Facebook. Let's make the connection on that one. And I think we're getting ready for a few changes. This is really exciting. I'm going to make a whole bunch of decisions, and I really wonder, you think there'll be good decisions or bad decisions? I don't really know. Let's go and take a look over here. Hey, Peter over there making comments, not here. That's good. Let's go to comments. Oh, now if you make comments, I don't know if I can read it. Should I turn the camera this way? Hello, Douglas King. It is always a pleasure to see you, even if I don't have my glasses on. They're over there. They're in the makeup room. There's so many decisions to make. Well, what's a good decision? And how do you figure out what a good decision is? These are questions. Okay, the truth of the matter is that I spoke to the rabbi this morning. Yep, met him, just came back. He just came back from Israel. Always a pleasure. And each day there's some message that he delivers out. And this one had to do with decision making and going into something, doing something without knowing the outcome. And should you, without knowing the outcome and without knowing exactly how you were going to do it. So how do you decide what to do? I thought it was a good question. Now, maybe I've been going there a little bit too often because he looked at me afterwards and he said, Brian, you're putting a speech together in your head, aren't you? And the truth of the matter was yes. Because although he was sitting there talking a little bit more from a religious standpoint, that we always have God with us, your God, whoever that is. If you want to go from a religious aspect of it, and you want to know something, I could see that same thing being said in just about every religion that there is. So, not exactly a Jewish thing, it's a thing. And I'm thinking too, looking at it from a business perspective, is like, how important is that? How do we really truly make decisions? How do we make a good decision? How do we make a bad decision? How do we decide to not even decide and we make no decision? Which we all know making no decision is actually a decision. So no matter what it is, you can go at this from a religious standpoint. I'm not going to. Or you can go to this thing from a vacation standpoint. Where do you want to go? Nobody decides, you go no place, but that's the decision, to go no place. Or even what to do on a vacation if you're going to talk from a family standpoint. Business standpoint, same thing. What do we want to do from a marketing perspective? What product do we want to offer? What service do we want to offer? What price point do we want to offer this at? Good point there, Doug. What price point do we want to offer this at? All decisions that need to be made and need to be decided on. And it depends upon brand. If you don't know your brand, you need to know your brand. And then that goes into the deciding factor of where you're going to price something. You can go back to yesterday's comments. We're talking about, if you want to do $250,000 in sales and your average sale ticket is $50, assume it's a service, right? Because now you could set your service price. Let's assume you're coaching. All right, let's assume you're coaching. And yeah, I definitely want to get there. Hey, good to see you, my friend. And Doug, I'm definitely going to get to that. Gut feeling was the comment in there. But if you're going to, Keith, you can certainly appreciate this. I'm sure that both of you guys can certainly appreciate this. But the aspect of you have a service, let's say you're a speaker, but whatever it is, you're a coach, you're whatever, or coaching. You're going to set an hourly rate. You definitely should set an hourly rate. Not going to have it fluctuate all over the place. You set an hourly rate. What rate do you want to settle on? Now, And I don't have a calculator here but to go figure out the math on this one, but let's assume you want to do $250,000 in, let's call it sales or gross income with that, right? Forget expenses. Keep that simple. Now you're going to charge $50 an hour, or you're going to charge $250 an hour. Which are you going to do? How are you going to justify that? And how do you decide on that? Well, and Doug, this is where yours comes into play, partially at least. It's what do you value yourself as? How do you see you? That confidence level is there, your credibility level is there, your authenticity level is certainly there. But how do you price yourself properly? And some of it, and Doug, here we go. This is it. Bam. Yeah, that's right. Doug King, gut feelings. I learned how to press that button, Doug. I made a decision. I made a decision this week on a few things. This happens to be one of them. Gut feelings. Gut feelings. Gut feelings. What feels right to you inside is sometimes a rather important deciding factor in there. Thanks, Doug. Appreciate that. Come up with something brilliant at the end. We'll do it again. You know, but your gut feelings. It's like what's right for you, right? And maybe that falls into the confidence category, and maybe that falls into the credibility category. But if you feel that you don't have the credibility, then you're not going to have the confidence, and then you're going to charge $50 an hour, not $250 an hour, or whatever the price may be. Now, again, you want to look at this from a mathematical standpoint, you can certainly do that. If I'm charging $50 an hour and I want to make $250,000 over the course of a year, how many hours do I need to coach? And or if I'm coaching, I'm not prospecting. If I'm not prospecting, if I'm prospecting, I can't be coaching. It means you're not getting paid for that. So can you do that? Would you need to charge $250 in order for that thing to work? Or do you need to outsource? If you're outsourcing, well, that costs money too. And these are all decisions that need to be made. But do you, here we go again, Doug, trust your gut feelings and just go and do and know that everything's going to fall into place for you? Thanks, Doug. Appreciate that. It's like a two-way interview now, Doug. Well, I don't know. Hey, Yosemite, we might replace you with Doug here. But making those decisions, it sometimes does come from the gut. You need to do that. But the gut has to have the confidence that you're going to be able to do it and work it out that way. Now, the rabbi would tell you, thanks, bud. We'll give you a sound next time. But the rabbi this morning says there's a lot more going on, and we're never alone. And, we're being led by God to make these decisions. Okay. That's good. Now, if you believe in that path and you really believe in that path, I tend to think it'll happen. But if you really don't believe in that path, you don't believe in the religious aspect of it, but you do believe in, let's say, the law of attraction. Well, the law of attraction states that those things that should come to you will come to you as long as you're doing things for the right reason. I'm paraphrasing in that one, but I think that's pretty much on the mark. Well, if that's the case, then I tend to think that you really should go with your gut feelings. You really should go with what you feel is true to you and what is good for you and going that way. And look, if you feel you need to go out and get more credibility, get the credibility. What does that really mean to get the credibility? Gosh, I've seen some things that are just absolutely incredible. I was watching one of the videos with Gordon Ramsay, and I think the show was Hell's Kitchen, but Gordon Ramsay, right? So this woman is cooking one of these dishes, and he's rating the dish. It was when they had the group setting, and he asked her who she is. She said she owns a cooking school. That's all good. And the second question is, were you professionally trained? And she said, no. Now I'm thinking to myself, really? So you're training chefs who have ever been professionally trained by someone who's not a professionally trained chef? I'm like, I don't think I could do that. Well, his comments on her cooking kind of backed that one up. But let's go back to just her. that situation. Let's assume she knew how to cook well enough here that nobody was getting sick or anything like that. But wow, the confidence level on that woman to be able to run a cooking school where she has students that are coming to that cooking school and she doesn't have, she's not trained, and maybe she's got some other accreditation in there or something like that. I hope she's got something, but just the way it was presented on the show, maybe a little bit more extreme, whatever. But it's like, wow, I thought that was, I thought her, uh, since we're going Jewish here, her chutzpah, her chutzpah was kind of pretty far reaching, to go and do that. Would I be able to do that? No, I just couldn't do that. I don't cook that well. In fact, I cook for me. I don't cook for other people. There's a reason. One, I don't follow recipes. I cook. I don't bake. I can't bake. Baking is never too good. And should definitely reach out for help on that one. I didn't know what the word melted butter versus softened butter actually meant. So when I made cookies, they were rather tasty, but I used twice the amount of butter to get the thing made. It was not good. It was tasty good. It did not look like a cookie. Not my area. But that woman did it. Wow. I give her a lot of credit for doing it. Maybe she should get more credibility, or maybe she should run the school and get some trained chefs in there to further the whole thing. But you still have to go with your gut. And she did it. She did it. So when the rabbi brought this whole thing up there about doing and those resources coming to you, whether it be from up above, whether it be from side, that law of attraction, whether it be from your friends, spouse, support team, whatever, to go and do that. I think that is really a big part of that whole decision process, is knowing that those resources will come to you. Now, if you know the resources are going to come to you, right? Here's the thing there. Mike, good to see you. Been thinking about biking with you there, buddy. But anyhow, knowing those resources are going to come to you, what do you think actually is happening there? Are those resources coming to you? Those resources might have been there all along, right? Because like-minded people tend to stay with like-minded people. You got to take a look at the people that you work with. They're pretty much in the same category as you, right? Pretty much. Even clientele, they pretty much have that same personality as you. So assuming that you're going to be making a shift, not a massive change, but a shift in a change, or a shift in a new product, new service, new direction, shift. Those resources that you never saw before might actually have been there all along. But when you have it in your mind, whether you believe it's coming from above, from the side, or from within, but if you have it in your mind that it's okay for me to do this, I know whatever is needed is going to come to me. Here's what really truly happens, is that I think you become much more aware of the resources that are already around us. And that, I think, is such a big factor that perhaps so many of us are just missing. Right? And I see that kind of frequently too. When you are authentic, you go to a networking event and you are authentic. This was one event that came up. Everybody, it was a big room. It was on Zoom too, right? It was a big room. So what they did for this group is they broke off into different rooms, breakout sessions. And one of the things that came up was, what is it that you feel that you are lacking the most in? What's holding you back and stuff like that? And someone, again, give them credit, but somebody put in there, stated the fact of that imposter syndrome. I was like, wow, can't believe they said that. This is a networking event. We're supposed to put our best foot forward. I get the question. What are some of the challenges we face? Time is always a nice thing. Oh, yeah, challenge on time, because there's only so much time and I'm so busy. Things are so good. I just don't have as much time as I would like to prospect. Really? That's a safe answer, right? We can all appreciate, that's good. Hey, putting yourself in a nice light. But when that person said that imposter syndrome, I don't feel like I'm good enough to be who I say I am. And then I took a look around that Zoom room And then a few people started chiming in with yes. Their heads were nodding yes also. I was like, wow. And then I think the resource that that person needed, maybe most of us need, was right there. Because what happened is that everybody said, yeah, I agree. I get that feeling too every once in a while, or I get that feeling, however it was phrased by everybody. So the resource that they needed to overcome that challenge, when they made the decision, that decision to open up and say that, the resources just magically appeared. Or they were there all the time. They just became authentic. And it happened that way. That was a good decision on their part. I think it was a great decision on their part because it showed that we all have a lot of the same challenges within us. We all are pushing ourselves forward, especially the type A crowd, right? We keep pushing ourselves forward. We could do, we could do, we could do, we could do, we can do. And we just keep on doing. But the question is, can we really do it? We may not ask that question out loud. We ask that question internally. But if you're going to take on a project, you're going to make a decision to do something, and you know you can't really do it, well, that becomes a different decision too. But it doesn't mean you can't really do that project. Doesn't mean you can't really accomplish that project. It just means you can't really accomplish that project alone. So what do? Well, one of the things I like to say is you slow down and smell the roses, right? Just take a break, go out for a walk, go for a run, yoga, meditate, ride a bicycle. I don't know, whatever gets you going. Whatever gets you going. I know one of the things that I've done to completely clear my mind of everything was swim in a pool, not outside, in a pool. I gotta wear glasses, in fact, but in a pool. Why? It's a controlled environment. So there, I'm not going to drown. Usually a lifeguard around, that kind of thing. Now, I'm not the greatest swimmer in the world, but I was just following the lines. I was just going from one end of the pool to the other end of the pool, to the other end of the pool, to the other end of the pool. The only thing I was thinking about was breathing and getting a rhythm going. And that's it. We just breathe in rhythm, breathe in rhythm. Form of meditation, I would say it truly is. Help to clear the mind of different things. And you came out, you now have a fresh start on the day, fresh start on thinking. That's probably the best time to then start thinking about something. Not exactly when you're meditating or whatever, but then afterwards. And then you can come to that decision as to whether or not you're going to go it alone or bring in other people to go and do something. So let's get back to the rabbi's original question. Is doing something, making a decision, and taking on some challenge a good thing to do or a bad thing to do if you don't have all the resources in place to do it? My answer to that is it does make sense to go and continue on. Because if there is something that's that meaningful to you and you have an open mind, I think those resources are definitely going to appear. They'll come out of places you never knew. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Coming back to speaking, right? Joined Toastmasters. I wanted to learn how to become a better speaker. And I want to go someplace where it was safe to show my shortcomings, not in a networking event. Kudos to that person that did show their shortcomings of the imposter syndrome. I joined Toastmasters because I was not a good speaker. I was comfortable up there, which was great, but it actually was bad from a speaking standpoint, from an audience perspective standpoint, because I was just comfortable being there. I could have spent all the time in the world. Sometimes I wonder if I should be doing this in 15 minutes, not 30 minutes. Why? Because I could do 30 minutes, should do 30 minutes. There's a decision for you. I know when I have a guest, the 30 minutes makes sense. But anyway, going back to that. So I joined Toastmasters. I wanted to become a better speaker, more effective, all the rest of that stuff. But I knew that was a place in order to grow from, in order a place to show the shortcomings. So I found the resources in order to do that. I made a proactive move. But I knew what my issue was. So I did that. And then from there, it's just been an absolutely amazing journey about the things I've been exposed to and the other processes that have taken place from the event planning standpoint. Who knew? Learned a lot more about PR, actually working through a new speech manual, Pathways project on that one to help out with that. but also my experience there when it came time to doing a support group for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The answer was yes on their side about me doing it because I had that experience about running these different meetings. Did they really know what Toastmasters was about? No, but they knew I was involved in that thing for quite a while and had something to do with communication skills and something to do with leading a meeting. And they knew I was in that leadership role most of the years that I'd been involved with that. Still am involved with that. So it came. That was resources. Who knew? Resources that come together. Take a look at your friends that are surrounding you too. I gotta go see what time it is. Sorry, I had to look forward a little bit more. Hey, team. Then some of the other things that come to you, your friends and things like that. So what happens? Like it was one situation where I was talking about some of the other. I can't get into specifics on this one because it involves somebody else. But whatever, one of the things, that I was kind of going through, and that person had mentioned some of the things that they'd gone through. Now, was it monumental? Well, for that person, it certainly was. Was it big? Yeah, it definitely was big. But it came from somebody I just never expected it from. That was the monumental part of it, for me. Those comments came from somebody that I just thought had it totally together, had just had everything in place, rocking and rolling, making it happen. Oh, great. Whole thing was great. Told me some other things that with challenges to go through. I was like, yeah, you know what? Maybe that really is the case. Maybe it really truly is the case for real that we all have stuff that we have to deal with. And if we all have stuff that we have to deal with, by sharing some of the stuff that we have to deal with, we learn from that, including decisions, including going into a project. And that's where I think those resources come to us. So no matter what, now, you got to go into it with that mind. Let's go with our 3 actionable ideas. We're going to kind of focus on that. 1, when you make a decision, when you think about a project or something you want to do, some project you want to accomplish, what's the first thing you need to do? Figure it out. Is it a go alone project, or are you going to bring somebody else into the equation and do it that way? That's a decision. That's a big decision because it's got implications the whole way through. You bring in somebody else to assist you, partner with you. If they're going to partner with you, well, you know what? Now it's no longer just your project, so you need to be open-minded in the decision process. But that's a big decision right off the bat. It really is. I had a conversation with somebody else about something I'm working on, and his comment to me was that and I really appreciate this one. He told me this is my project. He's happy to assist in any which way. He's happy to back off in any way that I feel that he should, or that I want him to, whether or not he feels he should or not. And the whole way through, I was like, yeah, thanks. I really appreciate that because this thing I'd like to guide this into a certain matter. You'll hear more about that one as we go through. But that became that. So one decision you absolutely positively need to make. Is it you and you alone? Now, if you have a spouse, a significant other, a business partner and stuff like that, maybe you can't ever really make a decision that's yours and yours alone to make. Maybe there always has to be some sort of conference, informal or formal, that has to take place with that one. So make sure that one goes into it. And the other thing is you have to have that understanding that there are resources around you. You may not know who those resources are at this point in time, but know that they are there. So do slow down, smell the roses, share your thoughts with people. Understand that you are not alone. We talk about that you're not alone in bad things. That's that support group, that you're not alone as you're going through this kind of a challenge, stuff like that. But you're also not alone when you're taking on a new opportunity, when you're working through those obstacles to come to an opportunity. And you share those obstacles. They could be minor, absolutely minor. It's like, I really want to reach more people with doing this podcast. I really want to expand my marketing efforts. I want to figure out how to use my time more efficiently. Just share that with somebody. You don't think they have those same issues that have come up, especially if you're talking to like-minded people? You bet they do. We all do. We all have that like to create more time. Heck, I think we'd all like to be on, either on vacation, I mentioned this with them, either on vacation much more or just absolutely doing what they love to do all the time. His comment, he loves to do what he does all the time, which is good. It should be good, right? Because he does. He's going 7 days a week, Sabbath, Sabbath included, my friends. He's there. Just no mechanical equipment is involved in that one. But he really does. He's there all the time. Lucky guy? Yeah, I think in some respects it actually is. He's doing what he loves to do all the time. Are you? Can we get to that point where we love to do what we're doing all the time? Yeah, I think we can. Boy, and if I was in high school or junior high and I thought about that, what would I love to do all the time? Get paid for it, have a fantastic career out of it, or just have a mediocre career out of it, but know that those Maslow's hierarchy of needs are completed and I'm continuing on and doing? Fantastic. More on that one to know too. Definitely want to get in front of those high school kids and share that thought about doing what it is that they would love to do, what they're generally good at or intrinsically good at doing. Wouldn't that be fun? But share that thought with people. I'm sure a few of you on here are already thinking about that aspect of it. It's like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Wouldn't it be nice? Yeah, of course it would be nice. We're all here to do something. Understanding what that something is, that leads to those things. And then share it. And share those challenges along the way. That kind of thing. But that other comment he made, should we go into a project not knowing all the details? And the answer to that is yes. Just a flat out yes. These other things, you got to know that you're going to do this with somebody or without. You got to know that those resources are going to come to you from up above, from the side, wherever it is. But you also have to know that whatever you decide to do, you are making a decision to do it, to not do it. Either way, that's a decision, even if you decide not to do it. And all the rest of that stuff factors into it. So go into that. Go into that with the understanding that things are going to come to you that need to come to you. Go into it with the understanding that even if that project does not work out today, that project may not have been meant to work out today. Take that any which way you want, but it still is the case. Look, there's a lot of things that we start and we don't finish because maybe it wasn't time to finish. Is that a disappointment? Short term, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I could look in the mirror on that one. Without a doubt. Gotten very frustrated with different things. It's like, man, why couldn't that have happened? But sometimes the why couldn't that have happened? It's because it just wasn't meant to happen at that time. If I go into that, if you go into your project knowing that it may not complete for reasons unknown to you at the start of it, it just may not be the time to complete it. If you go into it knowing that you're going to learn something from this thing, regardless of the outcome, good, bad, or indifferent, then you always will learn something from it. Then you'll also know that the next time you go into it, the next time you start it up, you're not going to start at this level. You're going to start at this level. You're going to know what you don't know, which really goes back to my Toastmasters conference. I was asked to do this conference in 2009, to run a conference. Now, our district was decades old, but when I was asked to do the conference, they told me to do the conference. Like, okay, is there any kind of material or playbook or anything like that? We'll see what we can get you. We'll see what we can get you. The stuff they gave me was years old. We'll see what we can get you. So I basically started out, not at bottom, but pretty darn close. On a scale of 1 to 10, it wasn't 0. It was maybe 2. And then as I continued on with this project, it was a 9-month project. I learned more and more about what the conference was really, truly about, not what I thought it was about. And I was like, So where I got from 2 to 4, I was now back down at 3, but I was a little agitated. Hey, now there was an obstacle. How do I redirect that agitation, that understanding now, knowledge of that obstacle, and advance through that one? Well, we refocused the effort. We empowered a lot of people, had 17 committees working on that thing, empowered everybody. When we had our meetings, when we did the emails, we did all that stuff. This is pre-Zoom. Pre-Zoom, go figure that. It was 10 years ago, right? We didn't do Zoom meetings. Didn't even think about doing Zoom meetings. But anyhow, we got everybody on the same page to go and do that. Let's call it 80%. 80% of 17 committees on the same page. It turned out to be an unbelievable success. And I learned so much from that aspect of it. But one thing I also did with that, wrote up a playbook. So now the person going into that conference for the next conference, the next year, they weren't starting at 0 or 2 or even 4. I like to think they were starting at 5 because I gave them my challenges. I gave them my successes. I gave them my thoughts, and they were able to work with that. So even though that conference perhaps could have been better, we did set record attendance, all the rest of that kind of stuff. But even though that conference could have been, let's say, easier to do than what it was, an amazing learning experience, that worked out well. And it was a good experience. What did I use to get that thing started? Well, all right, Doug, let's go back to gut feelings. My gut said that I should do it. My brain power said, I don't know what I'm doing, but my gut wanted to do it. So we rock and rolled with the whole thing. That's it. So go for it, my friends. Go for those challenges and just understand the resources will come to you. I was like, I got a lean fluid over here. I can't read it. So, yeah, Karen, good to see you again. Well, it's my wife. It's always good to see you. Dave, no glasses. I had hair and makeup. Took way too long. I had to run over here to do this thing. But at least I didn't even comb my hair again. Got to work on that one. There's always an improvement to make over there. Yeah, Doug, I got you. Cooking takeout. We're with you on that one. Mike, yeah, practice makes perfect. Cooking, yes. Baking, it's a scientific approach to the whole thing. So what are we doing? Well, we're making decisions this week. We're going to make things better. Always going to make things better. I explained a couple of projects coming up, man, and I'm like super excited about what's going to take place over the summer. So we got the HIA trade show coming up, working on something with that one. And then we're going into the auto racing. Actually, the auto racing, the drag racing starts first. Guess who's getting microphone time? I wonder who that might be. All right, friends. We're after 30. Oh, we're well after 30 minutes over here. I'm out of here. Take care. Have a great day. Wonderful day. And, well, you know what? Make decisions. Make it work and understand those resources are going to come to you. Well, they come from up above, side, or within. Trust yourself. You can do it. Speak well. Speak often. Live inspired. Be well, everybody. Oh, good. All right, here we go. Oh, I also learned that I could press buttons. I don't have to lean forward to do this stuff anymore.